Guys, what's up? Welcome to the All Good Things podcast. We're here with an incredible comedian. So fun to have him. I've been watching him on YouTube. I did his podcast, Up All Night. Up All Night, right?
About last night. Up All Night, I think, was a show. Nope. Keep it in. We're moving on.
Let's move it on.
Up All Night, I think, was a show with, I want to say Molly Shannon and Will Arnett on NBC for a minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids were crazy. The parents just couldn't quite figure it out.
Remember when there was just so many sitcoms that they kept trying and trying, and they'd be on for a week?
Yeah, there was a nice run of like Jason Alexander would have like a new show every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they were like, I think the last one was just called It's Not George Costanza. And you're like, all right, pushing these down our throats. Never thought Michael Richards wouldn't get another shot. I think he got one more shot.
He did get a shot, yeah.
And I don't think that Hollywood has this whole rule of like you can't say the N-word. It's kind of assumed that like, you scream it at a comedy club and someone captures it. That's strike 1, 2, and 3.
Don't you think he could come back if he wanted?
Man,
people have come back from worse.
I think so.
Haven't they?
Oh, there's a broadcaster. I don't think he got fired I don't think he's for the Angels, but he was doing the Angels game, and Shohei Ohtani, excuse me, the superstar from Japan, was dealing with an injury, and one of the broadcasters was like, how are the Angels going to handle this injury throughout the course of the season? And the other guy goes, they need to be very, very careful. Swear to God. I'm like, this guy was 2 innings away from being like, fly ball to deep left, and that will sushi roll into the bleachers. Oh, that's a bomb that his family would run from. As Ohtani rounds the bases, he says, miso horn. Like, this guy just went for it.
He's on that ball like white on rice.
I mean, every one of those was getting ready to come out. It's always baffling to me.
What happened to him? Did he get suspended?
I think he got suspended, but not fired. So it's like there's this weird. Also, I think your seniority and your tenure in the sport has something to do with it. But look at the people people have done such worse shit. I mean, what do you think is the ultimate example? Probably O.J. Simpson, right?
Yeah.
If you just go like, that guy is on Twitter being like, what's up, Twitter world? Coming to you live from a Costco parking lot. You never know when you're going to need potato salad. And you're like.
There's no one co-signing him, though. There's not like a network or Amazon or somebody being like, check out OJ's new show.
Totally. I know. I don't think anyone has like retweeted him.
Yeah.
He follows like 50 people, which has got to be terrifying for those 50 people. Because, last time he followed a couple people. We'll be right back. Do you follow anyone that's like crazy that you're like, I probably shouldn't?
No, I don't go on Twitter at all.
Good for you.
I don't like it. Every time I go on there, I see something horrible about myself, and then I go.
Oh, really?
Off. Yeah.
So you get on there and just Jason Nash is, or do you search for it?
No. Like I'll go on there to maybe post something, and like promote a show, a stand-up show or something, and I try to get out as quick as possible.
Yeah.
It's like when you go into like the 7-Eleven and someone's crazy, and you need to go in and do what you need done.
Yeah.
Like we went in the other night, we were trying to buy lottery tickets.
Yeah, for that $900 billion lotto.
345 it's up to.
It's still going?
Yeah, it's still going. We played last night. We didn't win.
Of course you didn't. We wouldn't be here right now.
No, we wouldn't.
You'd be literally like, sorry, man, podcast canceled. They're fixing the prop on my helicopter submarine jet.
Adam, let's play it out.
Yeah.
Let's say.
I love the play it out. What would you do if you win?
We booked this podcast a couple days ago. I was so thrilled that you said yes.
I love you, dude.
I love you being here. If I had won the lottery last night, what would I have said this morning? Naveen, what would I have?
You wouldn't have made an excuse because I feel like we're cool enough where you would have told me. Well, actually, let me combat that with, you don't want anyone to know if you got that much money. So, okay, immediately I take that away. You're having to lie to me. What's the lie? You know what? Look, in this business, I think it's like I booked a last minute show. That's the gig pays well. So then you're not totally lying. How about that? I got something that pays really well. I think that you're not even lying, really.
I think I would have done the episode, and I would have been so forthcoming because it wouldn't have mattered anymore because I'd have money.
You just are coming at me? You're not.
No,
you're just a big piece of.
I buried a body in Albuquerque 10 years ago.
God. I thought you meant you were just gonna be like, look at you, dude. Look how you dress. You're dressed like a game show host who got Me Too'd mid episode on Nickelodeon, and I'm like, all right, easy, Jay. I thought you invited me here, and you're like, I did. And then it just starts raining cash on top, and you go, grab as many 20s as you can, you Jew. And I'm like, what?
You're like, I'm Jewish too.
You are, right? We talked about this on my podcast about last night.
About Last Night. Yeah. About Last Night is also a Rob Lowe movie.
I think it's also a Jerry Ferrara movie or Omar Epps. there was a movie with an all-black cast that I think it's about last night.
Wait, speaking of movies, let's go into Barbie really quick.
Sure.
Because I heard you met Gosling.
Acted with him, chatted with him, took a pic with him. Super sweet guy. Daggers for pupils. I get it. I get why my mom is like, oh, that's one guy I'd let put it anywhere or whatever. What did she say?
Married?
No, what did my mom say? She said, I said that. That's right. I said that to him, and so I think that's why they cut my scene down. But no, my mom is married. Yeah, remarried to my stepdad George. He's I think 80. She's 74. They both feel like they're in their 50s. They got just youthful energy at that age. It's aspiring because you look at people that hit a certain age. Harrison Ford, 81, did his 15th Indiana Jones. Admirable. Am I going to see it? Probably on a plane at some point, because I just don't feel like I don't have this burning desire to see 80-year-old men run around. But that being said, I hope I'm that agile.
Sure. And
then you look at Joe Biden and you go, when that guy was like, how's your Focus? And he was like, hey, man, I mean, I'll drive a Ford Focus. I'll drive you to Jumanji. I'll go. Look, there's Fraggle Rock, The Rock, and The Rock the movie with Mary. Look, you can eat ice cream with a fork, but that doesn't make me gay. We'll be right, So I look at that guy and I go, man, my stepdad's crushing it because my stepdad is all there, dude, and he just is. Do you ever what's your biggest? How big is your dick? What's your biggest fear? 4 inches?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
No.
What's your biggest fear about getting older?
It got bigger as I got older.
Is that your biggest fear?
My penis got bigger.
That your gets too big?
Yeah.
What if that happened? What if our Benjamin buttoned? I mean, that's because you know what it's like. Women historically have it way worse as far as like things that happen to your body, right? I think.
Yes.
We get to pee outside and it's not a big, I mean, look, I think you get arrested for that, but like.
We can be fat, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, double standard.
Pregnancy alone, what happens, the more we've been, thinking about kids and just like, not reading up, but hearing from people and then also just paying more attention to some of the horror stories that gals go through the pregnancy. I'm like, get the out of here. They are, I don't know why we don't praise women more. Maybe we probably do for the whole pregnancy experience. That's bonkers. I'm very aware of how crazy it is that a person comes out of you.
I watched it twice. It's insane. And one time was a C-section.
I thought you were going to say, and one time it wasn't even my kid. I just walked into a hospital and said I would love to watch.
I paid my $30.
I paid $30. There's a guy charging to view his wife's pregnancy.
Hey, we'll see it soon.
He's like, hey, man, she wanted an OnlyFans. I said, meet me halfway. Let's let him watch the pregnancy.
I'm surprised that's not on Twitch.
Dude, someone's got to have live streamed the pregnancy.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So go back.
So we were talking about.
You were talking to Gosling. So you said something. I saw you talking about it on stage, and it was really cool. You said you guys like shook hands for a really long time, and I have a similar story
with him.
No, my friend.
You're like with Matthew Fox from Lost. Cool.
My friend was going to be in The Lincoln Lawyer. He was going to have a bit part in this movie with Matthew McConaughey. So
wow.
So they said to him, "Hey, you're going to meet Matthew tonight, and maybe you'll get a part in the movie. You get like a couple lines."
Cool.
Really cool. And my friend is like, my friend's not like me and you. My friend's like a ripped dude, and he's just like a badass, like alpha male.
Wow.
And he
like needs to be like comfy in his own skin, or needs like the alpha, like needs you to compliment, like, dude, your arms are getting bigger. Like, what does he need?
He's just when it's time to be the alpha in the room, he like rose to the occasion. And what he told me what happened was he met Matthew and he shook his hand, and Matthew went in and was like trying to like alpha male him, like, how you doing? Hey, how's it going, Sam? Nice to meet you, like that.
Oh.
And my friend, who's crazy, was like, he's like, and I'm not backing down. And so he said they sat there for like, 2 or 3 minutes.
Doing like 19 different handshake combos?
Yeah, like seeing who would like pull away first. And I
almost like the Trump thing, the way that Trump would pull people in. Remember that?
No, what is that?
Oh, he would shake their hand and like pull them in. You never saw that?
No, is that what he does?
There's like a compilation of him, like he grabs someone and then he pulls them in. It's like a power move. It's like in the art of the deal or the art of the. I don't know. He would grab your hand and just pull you in, and it was a power move.
Right.
So I wonder if there was a little bit of McConaughey, like, And see, that guy seems real secure, but yeah, maybe if he gets like a little bit of intimidation thrown his way, he's like...
Yeah. It also could be like, hey, I'm going to connect with you and I want to see if you're real enough to connect with me.
McConaughey does feel like a guy that's like,
you know,
if we're going to share a bus, we're also going to share some semen. You know, like I don't know. He wants to get to know you is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. It's a real
Wait,
one.
so your buddy, did he have, who won the battle?
He didn't, I don't remember who won, but he just said they just fucking sat there and shook hands for like
Cool.
5 minutes.
Imagine the people around on the crew that were just watching them, just like, like, are we gonna? Is that a wrap on the day? Are these guys just gonna go? Fuck? Like, what's happening right now? But there are people like that. McConaughey, Gosling. I think there's a list of like people that are
Tom Cruise.
Yes, that are I think are like beyond comprehension as far as movie star.
Yeah, or just
Brad Pitt.
Be able to act like that in a room, to think you are the top dog in the room.
Yeah.
I've never been able to do that.
Yeah. Who do you think is on that level? You know, maybe even Leo, not alpha male, but like people where I think everyone's like, oh my God, that's so-and-so.
Jim Carrey. Not that he's an alpha male, but I think when Jim Carrey walks in the room, I was with Jim Carrey once and everybody just lost their shit. Everybody. Man, everybody lost their shit. The old people, the young people.
Probably who I'd love to have dinner with most right now.
Yeah. Me too.
Jeff Ross just told me, comedian Jeff Ross said he hangs with him a decent amount, and they had dinner, and he goes, he's as funny as ever, dude. He goes, commanded the table. And I was like, it was like so comedically fulfilling. I was just like, because, you know, he kind of retired more or less, and then was like, you know, doing a lot of painting. He had his book, and he would do a bunch of press for that, but he doesn't, I also dig that he doesn't feel like he needs to be on. He's not, you know, I would love if he was still doing stand-up, but the fact that he is like happy is what Jeff was saying, and being goofy and silly, and he's like, he kind of just was telling stories and knowing that people probably wanted, you know, when you hear someone that's lived a life. I heard Clooney on Mark Maron once, and every time Maron mentioned like a person or a film, he was like, I got a story for you. And then he knew that I've lived a cool life, and people probably want to know some of these Clooney tales.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. He's not going to be around forever either.
Clooney, so he'll find the magic pill. He ain't going anywhere. You
think? But I mean, as these guys get older, like, you do see them revealing a lot more.
Yeah.
I think. What do you think about Jim Carrey saying that did you see him when he was like, the gym I created is no more. That was a character. Jim Carrey. What do you think about stuff like that?
I don't know. I don't know if that's like the spiritual side or him. That's a guy too that has been famous for so long. And at a level, like we just said, where you're like, he is way up there for me, same as Robin Williams was. And so I can't even imagine what it's like to be inside the dome of someone like that. So I think what I took from that was like, I'm going to kind of be Jim Carrey, the person now. You got the best part of me as far as like being, Ace Ventura, everything, being that goofy and silly. And I'm sure that's still in there. I don't think I think comedy is almost like, look at Don Rickles, man, up until the end. I don't think we lose this bug or this juice for it. Yeah. Unless, because we've gotten the benefit of being conditioned to, find this art form that kind of fuels off of bad shit happening, right? You kind of know, like, it's like the amount of death and whatever you go through, or rejection, whatever it is, breakups. You go, oh, that's kind of why I fell into this, because I think I know how to get out of it or
is that why
adjust.
You fell into it?
Yeah, definitely.
Were you like hurt? Did you have something happen to you, or?
No, everything's good, man.
Let's take a break.
No, I need to do this. I told myself I would bring it up. Yeah, man, folks split, but even that didn't shake me up too much.
My folks split too.
Yeah, but okay, I thought this was my story. Wow, just fucking Jason Nash, table for one. I was trying. Didn't know there was a +1 to my heartbreak, but I guess there is.
I read an interview book once, and they were like, if you share a little bit about you, then that person feels better to open up.
I love it, dude.
But it doesn't work in the
No, it was case. Perfect. Don't question anything you're doing. Have a bomb-ass summer. What did you write, real quick, and I'll come back to my folk split, but what did you write in people's yearbook that was like your jokey signature, or did you have a calling? Did you have some sort of funny thing, or wasn't that such a fun, weird thing to do?
So fun.
You give your yearbook to a girl you had a crush on. You're like, I might not ever see it. She might write swastikas over all the black people, as far as I know. I think I know this girl. I don't know her. I just had a crush on her for like 6 months, and now we haven't talked. But now she's like, "Give me your yearbook. I'm gonna take it from science through math." And you're like, you can rub anything you want on it. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "I thought I said that in my head."
Or you get a message, like you get like a sign that like maybe she liked you all along. Wow. And you find out in the yearbook.
Yeah, the year was weird. So many ups and downs. But like, I remember every time I'd see you in the lunchroom, I was like, and there's 2 times you invited me to sit down, and I didn't because I was with Brandon. But like, just the way you looked so sad when I walked away made me think I should call this guy this summer. And you're like, "Thank you."
Fuck, yeah, but something in that, there's always, people took that as an opportunity to like reveal, or, a school year wrap up, right? Sometimes you get that diatribe from a kid you knew barely, and you're like, "Fuck, dude." And he's like, "Yeah, man, I was going to blow the school up." You're like, "Wait, what the fuck?"
We didn't have.
Should I turn that in?
We didn't have that in my day.
Yeah, okay. You didn't have bomb threats, and the bomb threat was always so weird because the teachers didn't know what to do. There was no, with school shootings now, it seems like they're, hopefully not going to actually arm them, but like there's prep of like door locks and this and that. But like bomb threats, it was like, I remember our teacher being like, "Everybody stop, drop, and roll." And we were like, "Isn't that if you're on fire? What? Get under the desk. We'll still blow up, Mrs. Larson. Are you allowed to be here?"
I had a guy email me the other day to make amends. Someone that I guess like made fun of me. And I don't remember who this person is.
Wow.
I have no idea. And I called my other friends. I was like, "Do you know this person's name?" Blah, 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 blah. And they were like, "Yeah, they were a year beneath me." But I don't remember them. But it's just funny that someone would have to make amends from the time they were like 16, because I don't think that he was drunk then. Like, what's the line on making amends? You have to go all the way back to when you were a baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I think because like 8th grade, everyone's not great. I don't know. You're not. Yeah, what is the cutoff for like?
Have you ever had somebody make amends with you?
No, but I did with a kid that I.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Were you an alcoholic?
No.
Oh, but you just went and said sorry.
I just dumb making jokes at someone's expense.
Yeah.
Which I didn't do a lot, but for whatever reason, I think the same way I can almost, I've always been pretty good with like memorizing lines and just photographic memory, but certain things I don't know if it's the being raised by single, like I'm very sensitive. And so as I got older, I started to, and again, so being a bigger kid growing up, getting teased.
Yeah.
That's definitely why I got into comedy, because it was like, this feels so bad. Whether it's good friends, eventually some of my best friends, that you're like, "Oh, I thought at least I had you in my corner. Now you're making fun of me." The lowest of lows. And people that don't, that haven't, ever gotten teased for being a certain size. There's way worse things to probably get teased.
Were you big?
Oh, yeah. And everyone had their own thing, whether it's you had braces or a fucking eye, or you had fucking nipples on your knees, or you had fucking, your dad, rubbed his on the back of your neck before I don't know. But my dad didn't do that because he left. But yeah, that's the only reason why. What if I was like, that's why he didn't do it? Common
theme in comedians.
Totally.
Absent dad.
Yes. And so the feeling of because it was like fat kids don't know they have an issue until they get a sign from the outside world. It's like, I was happy-go-lucky. I'm like, yeah, I was just as fast as all the skinny kids. I was quick fat. I didn't let that slow me down. I smelled like baked beans and mac and cheese when I sweat, but I was like, I just didn't feel like I had a problem. I wasn't like breathing too hard. I didn't, but then you get, then a friend's dad would be like, "Hey, you want to send me some nudes later?" You just get little things where they'd say, and you're like, maybe I got to drop some pounds, because he probably shouldn't be saying that to me.
Quick fat is funny.
Quick fat,
fast fat kid.
Fast fat kid. And so,
how fast were you? Play football?
All the sports.
All of them.
It was one of my first jokes. I said my coach called me Krispy Kreme Abdul-Jabbar because I was so good. He was like, "You're the most delicious defender of all time." But out of that, started making people laugh. And so getting back to the apologizing to the kid, I just got more sensitive, because I was like, I felt so bad for a time that I was like, comedy I found because of that. So I was like, oh, wow, I can feel better about myself and make other people feel good. This is truly the holy grail of life situations. Yeah. But then when I reached out to this kid years later, I think I just became way more cognizant of like the emotional wear and tear and just not wanting to make anyone feel bad. So that's why I feel like I have decent amount of benefit of the doubt and empathy towards strangers. That's not to say that I haven't found my fair share of, social confrontations that make my wife uncomfortable. We were on a flight and I was hitting the TV screen in front of me and it was not picking up my selections. So I started poking a little bit harder than normal. Guy behind me turns around. Hey man, knock it off. Definitely not a warranted response. So now in my head, and I just take a beat and I'm literally like this and my wife just goes, babe, please don't. Just knowing that I'm going to do something to make me and her laugh that's going to prolong the moment. So I lean forward into the seat and I just go, I'm not going to scream and go. It's not my nature to go, hey, you go, I wasn't even doing it that hard. I'm like, what's funny? What? I take a beat. I go, hey, man, look. I lean to the three. And he goes, what? Don't talk to me. I go, kind of an older guy. He kind of looked like Paul Giamatti with a goatee and maybe like a little bit of he had more hair. Okay. But Paul Giamatti energy, but not as likable. So good. He's what?
His life's not going so good.
I don't think so. He probably let's say he was at Jamba Juice and he ordered an Orange Dream Machine and they gave him a razzmatazz and he specifically said, don't Taz me up. And they gave it to him anyway. Yeah. Because they were like, don't tell me how to, don't say that. Don't Taz me up. This guy sucks. They could feel it. They gave him the wrong drink. Yeah. So he's already on the flight with just a negative approach to life. So I lean through the seat, that little sliver through the seat and I go, hey man, we're all having a bad day. Everyone on this plane, you can feel it, hates the world they're living in.
Through the slit.
I go, through the slit. He goes, what? I go, I've never fought a grown man on a plane before, but I'm down to go into the bathroom right now and duke it out. And you know what? It's close quarters in there. Who knows? We get a little bit too close. Maybe we start kissing. I don't know what happens. My wife's like starting to kind of laugh. I go, maybe we start kissing. Maybe we start fighting. Maybe we fight, kiss. Maybe, who knows, dude? Dude, even just talking through the seat at this level is getting me a little turned on. And he goes, dude, shut up. And then I pull back and I was like, all right. And then he told the flight attendant that I was like heckling him, harassing him. Yeah. He comes over, he goes, so, and there's the guy's in the bathroom. He goes, so, I don't want to like make this into a deal, but like the gentleman in front of you says you're giving him a hard time. He goes, I've been observing him through the flight. He feels like a lot. He goes, but just whatever you're doing, if you can just, I go, all good, dude. I was just trying to like make a funny thing out of whatever.
Right.
So again, point being, I was like, if someone's being like that to me, I more often than not feel like I almost have to do something, not to make them feel bad, but just let them know in a light way as possible, like you can't just do that to people and think it's so and get away with it.
Yeah.
And guess what? There's also the move of, hey, Adam, just don't do anything. Yeah. But I don't know. It's almost like we're dealing with a heckler on stage.
I was going to say,
I think that's how I treat it.
I mean, of all people to say that to, somebody who is a professional crowd work comedian, someone who has spent hours,
it as a challenge.
Being shown up.
Yeah, totally. And I guess
really funny.
But
that's like trying to throw a punch at a jiu-jitsu expert, and you don't know that this guy is a jiu-jitsu expert.
And my wife is like, you don't know what could be going on in his day right now. And then that gets my head. I'm like, yeah, maybe who knows what news he just got. But sometimes you go, and then she started creating all these scenarios of how bad his day could have been before that. I go, well, if it is all the things you're suggesting, I don't think he'd have the energy to turn around and do that to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Because if you're
he's looking for it.
Yeah, he's looking for it.
I was at the gym yesterday, and these two girls come on the elliptical, and they're chatting, and I'm on the treadmill. I don't care that they're chatting. People chat. And
headphones are in or no?
I didn't have headphones.
Gotcha.
But I don't care.
Because sometimes you got headphones, the chatter's so loud that you're like, what are they talking about? And you want a little Jim Eavesdrop. Jim Eavesdrop, by the way, is a great name for a guy who goes to gyms only to eavesdrop. And his name is also Jim. Yeah. Talk about sitcoms that Jason Alexander could have starred in.
Yeah. And this woman is next to them, older woman, she's in her 60s. She just goes, there's no chatting.
Oh.
There's no chatting. And I was like, that's up. Like, you're going to tell them to not chat. And then the woman goes like this. She points, and there is literally a sign that says,
Of course there is.
no chatting.
You think a woman over 60 is going to call attention to the rules and not know the sign placement?
She fucking got him.
And so what did the girls do? They didn't.
They went like this. They went
Yeah.
like that, and then they were like, well, we're just talking. She just goes. She points it again. She goes, no chatting.
Oh,
I love interactions like that.
Me too.
I saw a woman once at Bristol Farms. She brought a turkey sandwich, and she goes, it's a turkey sandwich. She goes, I didn't want mayonnaise, and she goes, well, it comes with mayonnaise. That's what it is. And the woman just goes, make it again. And the guy goes, the guy goes, but it comes with mayonnaise. Like you knew what you were getting. And she just said it 40 times. Make it again. Make it again. Make it again.
Make my sandwich sans mans.
Yeah.
Sans mayonnaise, please.
Yeah.
Make it again. The entitlement to speak to someone who, oh my God. Also, what's great about that gym interaction is that the girls had an opportunity to be like, the sign says no chatting. We were talking. There's a difference. Talking is an elevated form of chatting. When you're chatting, you're probably 60 and you probably don't really respect talker. You know what I'm saying? You could have found some sort of loophole.
Sure. Chatting would be a light subject. Talking would be something serious.
Totally.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. My aunt has cancer.
That's
Just
a talk.
so you know. Yeah.
Can I talk to you about something?
Yeah.
Hey, can I chat with you about something? Yeah, I don't know. Principals, if they pull a kid into the office, can I talk to you? Not, hey, let's go chat. That's about fantasy football. Can I talk to you? He's like, your dad's hitting your mom. And he just called me to tell me that. And you're like, I thought we were chatting. He's like, my bad. I did say we were going to chat, but you're right.
You also played Jen Leno.
Yeah.
But also your stand-up special's out live from Portland.
Live from
It
Portland.
came out 9 days ago. And the comments are insane on it.
Some good feedback.
People love it.
Yeah.
Like it must feel so good.
It's good.
That would be my goal, is to like put out like a YouTube special. Like
totally.
That.
So I'm
38 minutes.
38 minutes. I'm shooting a full hour plus one in September.
Okay.
At Madison Comedy on State. This one was I haven't put out a real special since probably 2016, 17. And so I've been sitting on and curating material that I'm just like, as I was looking towards the September one, I was like, all right, there's stuff that I'm just going to maybe not do anymore or whatnot. And then my buddy hit me up and was like, we have 6 cams. We're starting to shoot people's specials in Portland. I'd love to do yours as one of the first ones to kind of get a feel with me and this crew. And this place that I was doing 2 shows at called the Get Down, and it looked great and sounded great. And from the 2 shows, I did so much stuff that I was not going to do on this special that I shoot in September, and riffed a lot of stuff in the moment that was fun. Not even just crowd work, but this whole bit about bidets up top that just happened from a bidet being in the green room, and
crazy.
Stuff about the Titanic that had just happened, and I riffed a bunch of stuff about that, and it was all stuff where I was like, yeah, I'm proud of this, and I found 38 minutes that I was like, and it looked great and sounded great to put up. The name of the game, as you know, is content, man. You gotta, and I did this Dr. Phil Bill Burr thing that did really well, and I wanted to, and so I wanted to, thanks, bud. I wanted to like, I guess just consistent, follow that up with something else. And I've been thinking about putting that out and maybe having that serve as just a special. But then I was like, I really want to enjoy the buildup of having one to look forward to and really promote it and also do it with a company that's going to really just make sure that all the variables are more dialed in. This was more like shooting my shows, but the guy did it with the hopes of like that we would put it out, and so it's really a pre-special to a bigger one. But I'm still very proud of it, and yeah, again, like just so much stuff that I could burn on that. And now, as you know, it's like just always writing. And this past weekend in Chicago, got a couple new bits that I'm probably now going to add to September because they've fit in context with the stuff I already have. And
what's the special in September going to be called?
I'm going through a bunch of titles. I'll throw a few at you and see what you think. Yeah, let's see. My initial react. I'm gonna read you a few, and you tell me which one you think I'm leaning towards. All right, here we go. It'll be filmed at Comedy on State in Madison, Wisconsin, September 22nd and 23rd. Come out if you're there. All right. like and subscribe. We'll be right back. Arm the janitors. Hell yeah. Thanks, Mom. And too soon. Which one do you like, and then which one do you think I'm leaning towards?
Do them again. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. So tough. Like and subscribe is based off a bit about my nephew. He's 8 years old. I've got probably 15, 20 minutes on this piece of shit. He's 8 years old. His new thing now is to hit you in the and go, like and subscribe, and then run out of the room giggling while you ice your balls in front of your stepdad. That's more or less the beginning of a whole slew.
Like and subscribe.
Too soon. We'll be right back. Arm the janitors. A whole bit about arming the teachers, arm the janitors, and then arm something else.
Oh, arm the janitors. It's too political.
Yeah. And
too soon is good.
Hell yeah.
If it's very...
that's what I'm leaning towards.
Too soon.
Because, well, the too soon comes after something it's a bit about... talking about the Dalai Lama and sucking tongues, and there's a whole thing about don't be a pedophile. So easy to not be a pedophile. How easy is it to look at a kid and not go yum 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 yum? and then a whole thing about the footage of it, and I say the footage of the Dalai Lama asking the kid to suck his tongue is so horrifyingly grotesque. It makes Two Girls, One Cup look like Air Bud 3.
You're right.
And then I go, if you haven't seen either one of those feature films, I'd probably start with Air Bud. Soundtrack and Cup is better, but the story with Bud I think is stronger. And then I go, and then I think I say something like, I'll never unsee Two Girls, One Cup. I'll never forget seeing that. I go, I'll never forget where I was on 9/11 or who sent me the link to Two Girls, One Cup. And then I went like, too soon. And then break down too soon a little bit about what people's kind of shelf life or timeline.
Too soon, then.
I also think
that's just a good title for
I think
any
it pops,
comedian.
and I think it also feels in the context of a stand-up special title.
Yep.
It doesn't. Some titles sometimes you're like, oh, I don't even know what that means to the, and then you hear and you go, oh, he just said said the name of the special, but it was not attached to anything. But too soon, Harland Williams and I always say too soon to each other in moments where it doesn't line up. You know what I'm saying? And it makes us laugh. Tell me
about him. He's so interesting.
Oh, he's bonkers. I'll get him on here for you if you want. You guys would have a great time. He is so funny.
He's so funny.
And getting to know him over the last 10 plus years,
Where do
so
you
nice.
See him like doing stand up and stuff?
Oh yeah, everywhere. Oh, store, factory, improv. Yeah. But I hosted for him in Seattle once. I met him in LA. It's always been one of my favorite just comedy guys. And Dumb and Dumber is my favorite movie of all time. Yeah. And so his scene to me is like, it's just to scene steal in a movie like that is pretty bonkers. And then I got to know his stand up. And I would see him on Conan all the time being so funny. And so I asked this guy at the club in Seattle, can I host that weekend? So I flew up, stayed with my folks so that I could kick it with him that weekend and get to know him. And became fast friends after that. Then in LA, we started playing racquetball and kicking it, and then started opening for him a little bit on the road. And then just, but he's so naturally funny. A guy that, go ahead.
And his podcast is just kind of like,
yeah, he just started in the last couple of years. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like completely not topical. Just like from what I've seen, it's just like really funny little bits.
Oh yeah, we did a bit on one. Ended up, I think, losing part of the episode, so we redid it. But he had a game where it was called like dill pickle cream cheese dollar bill. So he had like dollar bills wrapped up, amount of money that was like wrapped up really tight, dipped in pickle juice in some cream cheese, and I had to take them out. And if I could unfold it, I got to keep how much it was, and I couldn't get any of them open. I mean, that's more or less what the game was. I mean, he's just bonkers. And then, awesome. But then we talked about like, awesome. I think not our greatest fears, but something about, we got really deep on one of the, he's a real thoughtful guy, as silly as he is, which I think is why it's so important to like allow yourself to remember that, you know, you don't know somebody till you know them. You got to really take time to get to know people and chat with them before you really just put up certain labels. I mean, like Lizzo, for example, who saw that coming? Probably some people. There probably were some people in our high school that were like, I always knew she was going to be force feeding push bananas to her friends. Yeah. You know she did that? Isn't that crazy?
Tell me what she did. I didn't hear.
And I pulled the article up a few weeks ago because my wife and I were like, what did she do exactly? And because, you know, Lizzo to me was like awesome. Like, again, as a former fat kid, being like, man, you really are taking hold of this issue of body image and struggles and obesity, and really just being like, I'm comfy in my own skin and owning it. And I really think she has done good in that regard for a lot of people. And so I applaud that. And, you know, I was also very indifferent. She'd be on Instagram being like, you want to see me get in this hot tub? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I got a couple hours to kill. So that's not nice, but it took a bit. And so I'd be so I'd be watching her. I'm like, her voice.
We're pro Lizzo.
So am I.
Yeah, we're pro Lizzo.
That's just a joke. Yeah, whatever.
Really funny.
Yeah,
I didn't get it at first.
Yeah, sorry, it's a throwaway. But
watching a Poco.
Yeah, but she's so, I mean, so talented. And I never even, I don't know. Again, the same way when I was a bigger kid and it was an issue to me. My first thought wasn't like, look at this chubby girl sing. It was just like, look at this amazing singer. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so she made her people in her cast like take turns touching a stripper's genitals, I think.
Okay.
And then it said made them eat. I took a screenshot of it. Here, I'm gonna pull it up for you right now. Watch this. Here we go. Yeah. Lizzo began inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers, catching dildos, launched from the performers' vaginas, and eating bananas protruding from the performers' vaginas during a visit to a strip club in Amsterdam. Now, that's the last part that sticks out to me.
Damn.
At a strip club in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
If this was like eating bananas protruding from the performers' vaginas, ... at a Trader Joe's, then I'd be like, well, that's up, and herein lies the issue with her behavior. But she just, I don't know, strip clubs get crazy. Now forcing people to eat, again, bananas coming out of the vagina, that's a weird move.
It's so
They're
tough.
your friends.
So let's walk through it. You go to Amsterdam, you're there on tour, you go out for a night of fun, and then
you're already in Amsterdam, which is almost Vegas
it's a horrible
in Europe.
place, by the way.
It's gluttonous.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
I finally went, and I thought, oh, we'll finally go, and it'll be fun, and the worst.
Why?
It's rainy.
Yeah.
That section, it's just like weed.
The red light
stores.
district.
Yeah, we walked through the red light district. It was
not
awful,
exciting.
It was seedy, not
Real
exciting, really sad, dangerous, dirty. I think maybe if you're like 18, maybe it's fun.
You're loving it if you're 18.
And it's dreary there. And also, you get hit by a bike every 5 minutes almost.
People don't tell you that.
There's bike roads. There's bike lanes everywhere.
Pedestrians are secondary.
Yeah.
In Amsterdam. Speaking of loving it, I went to Amsterdam when I was studying abroad in London, my junior year of college, and we went for a weekend trip. Got so baked the whole time, and I separated from the group. I got high and walked away. And I was eating an Oreo McFlurry, and I walked through the red light district all of a sudden, and I'm like, holy shit. I hadn't planned on visiting this spot of the city, but here we are. So I'm eating my McFlurry, so baked. And it's, when you're like, this is the perfect thing to be. I don't have cotton mouth, but it's it's everything I wanted. It was just warm enough outside, so it's ice cream, it's a McFlurry, it's an Oreo McFlurry, my favorite flavor, and I'm eating it, and now I'm just looking at this, I'm window shopping. I wasn't going to buy anything, but I'm like, wow, truly, it's like, I've never seen this before. Women dancing, trying to seduce me, and I lock eyes on one woman, and she's dancing like, ooh, who's that? I bet that guy's studying abroad, right? Yeah. And I almost felt like I'm eating the McFlurry, so now I'm just like, I almost felt like it was like a homeless person looking at you when you're like, I got nothing on me, and then you're just eating right in front of them. So she's like, and I just felt, and I was like, I'm eating my McFlurry, I can't come, fuck you. I don't know. I don't know what I said, but I was like, I'm busy, obviously. But there's the guys over there that clearly I think are without McFlurries that have free hands. And so I'm doing this, and then she just kept dancing, and she was kind of like laughing. So then I was like, and then I took a bite of my thing, and I was like, and then I started to seductively eat it, and then that was a wrap. So I don't know if she like made a weird face, but she closed the curtain, and I was like, all right, this isn't for me. But
yeah, that's
it's the vibe is. That's like you said, dangerous and seedy.
That's what happened to us. We walked through it, and they were like, "Do you want a show?" And we were like, "No." And then they were instantly like, "Well, fuck you."
Whoa.
Yeah, like we were like, "Okay, we're just walking." I was there for 90 seconds.
That's all you need sometimes in the red light district. She's like, "Dude, you could have been here for 50." I don't. It's also like those rooms are so you don't know if they lead back to a whole dungeon of fun or if it's literally like a gas station bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wouldn't that be great if they each had different sets? Almost like you can rent sets for sketch shoots here in LA, where they're like, hey, you can bang her in your childhood bedroom, or you can, have sex in fucking, at Swiss Family Robinson's cabin. That's a deep cut, by the way. It's an early Disney film about a family, I think, that gets their ship falls apart.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
And they build like a house in the jungle. Yeah. And then pirates show up. Anyway, but it was a lot of classic Disney actors.
Hey, this happened to me the other day.
Yeah, this is a good time to move on.
Have you ever eaten anything out of the trash?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I don't even know why I'm thinking.
I did it the other day.
What did you eat?
We went to a wedding in Palm Springs, and
oh no,
I'm like manorexic. Like I'm like trying to lose weight all the time. So like
why?
When I eat, like I just want to be thin.
Yeah,
I want to be.
Yeah, you are.
I'm trying. And so it's not that I like want to like look a certain way. It's just I don't feel good when I have a lot of weight on me.
Totally.
I was fat too when I was little.
Yeah.
And so I brought these turkey meatballs with me, and I was with Naveen, and I had like a couple, and then our room wasn't ready, so I couldn't take the turkey meatballs to the room. But they did take our luggage, but I wasn't going to have them take the turkey meatballs with the luggage.
No.
Because it's just going to sit somewhere.
Yep.
So I'm like, Naveen's like, just part with them, give up the turkey meatballs.
Say goodbye to the turkey meatballs.
So I put them in the trash.
Oh my God. You went to the wedding.
Yeah. No, I would put them in the trash at valet. Then I went in and we sat and we waited for the room to be ready. And I'd say it was like 10 minutes went by? 5? 15 go by. And I'm hungry. So now I got to
There's no snack machine. There's no turkey meatball vending machine.
But these are like a healthy food. There's no. I could go get a burger.
Yeah, you wanted to,
but
keep
I don't
it
want to
light.
go eat a burger.
And a meatball's like just light enough and just
so the
hearty
valet
enough.
if the valet sees me, go back in the trash and pull whatever I pulled out. I mean, they watched me do it.
What'd he say?
He didn't say anything, and then I ate them.
Were they connected to anything? Were they wrapped in a napkin?
They were wrapped. They definitely were like kind of open.
Wow.
Yeah, and one of them had fallen out, but they were still kind of on top. But there was like there was like another bag over it. It was.
Yeah. No, I'd.
You never done that?
Well, let's just stay on you for a second here before we get on to what I pulled out of there. I would pay close attention to any sort of spasms or muscle tweaks and just parts of your body that start to just do that, because I think you might have, who knows what you
parasite.
That meatball, it's like, stuff sticks to it, right? Yeah. That's maybe the worst food.
Also, it was in the car for 2 hours on the way to Santa Barbara too.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you're okay with that.
Yeah, because it's just, you got a mobile microwave.
Yeah. When's the last time you got really sick on food? Did you ever get food? When you travel a lot, did you get food poisoning?
Sure, I got food poisoning maybe we just found out I'm allergic to olive oil. So I got which is in so much stuff, so much good stuff. I get all flushed and I got real sick because I drank a bottle of it. And no, it was, I think, in some pasta or something. But real sick, I don't know. I remember as a kid, the first time I started, when I got I had to vomit, it wasn't until I was like 6 or 7. And my mom, instead of giving me, I don't know, Alka, whatever there is to do, she did the suppository to make you feel better. And looking back, by the way, I've never talked about this. Looking back, I'm like, I definitely could have taken something orally, you fucking sick bitch. Like, bend over. Hey, haven't seen that tush in a while.
My fiance's from Lebanon, and they do that in Lebanon.
She
they stick it in your butt.
Oh, and she shoved it at it was a break the fast, Yom Kippur party. Yeah. And I wish I remember the name of the family, because I'd love to give them a shout out, because we went into one of the guest rooms and my mom shoved a suppository to make me stop, because I was throwing up at their house. So maybe she was just like, enough's enough. You got to stop puking at the Shivitzes or whoever we were, guests at. And I remember the scream. It couldn't have been worth it, because then somebody had to be like, what did you do to your son? And I didn't want her to say she just put her fingers in my. So I was like, don't you tell them what you did. So I think she was like, oh, I just spanked him because he was being a bad. She said something that both answers were wrong. And everyone at that party was looking at me weird the rest of the time. But I stopped puking. But again, it was like I could have drank something so Lebanon suppository is the. It works. I mean,
Hey,
Yeah.
can we talk about being Jewish?
Sure.
What's your biggest take on being Jewish?
Judaism. So,
Just like I always felt like really judged by other Jews.
wow.
But at the same time, if I ever needed something, just by the fact of being Jewish, people would come through for me.
Yeah.
So that is always I always had a weird relationship with it.
It's a special fraternity
Yeah.
that people are like, yeah, I don't know. I was one of maybe like 3 Jews in elementary school.
Yeah.
I think there was, who was there? Myself, Eve Alexander. So Adam and Eve. Teachers had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
So hack. Mrs. Greenland used to do Adam and Eve Jew jokes a lot. And she was a bigger gal, and her last name was Greenland. So, we fired back pretty hard. Quick little tangent. Jill Warren, I think, was a Jew. And why her name matters is she is the probably the first person that made me that made me go like, oh yeah, again, like my snack habits are a little out of control. She, during silent reading, had some saltine crackers. I had no snacks. I looked down. I was like, I must have been, I fucking her crackers to where she was like, do you want some? She had like weird fangs. She's like, you want some of these crackers? I was like, I do actually. Could you tell I was looking at them? She's like, oh yeah, fatty. She slides them over. I start nibbling on them during silent reading. And then she just starts going, just laughing, shoulders bouncing adorably like a child. It's just like, yeah. And I start chowing down on them, and I go, what's so funny? She goes, my brother farted on those crackers.
Do you think
and I just continued to crunch, being like, you think that's going to stop me right now?
she did that to you because you were Jewish?
Oh, I didn't know that's what you thought where the story was headed. No, she was another Jew. I'm sorry. That's why I brought her up. Yeah. Oh my God. She gave me fart crackers.
Anti-Semitic story.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I read in the Torah that you guys like these.
Yeah. You go to temple and stuff?
Went to temple, taught at temple from kindergarten through, I think, 5th, 6th grade. Just followed this class all the way through. Yeah. And was, I think, Madrik was a teacher's assistant, then became a teacher for the last 2 years of them. Bar mitzvah, circumcision in the same... on the same stage.
That's
in the same
weird
hour.
when they say, I've been through that, the circumcision, when the mohel comes to your house. That's
no, I did it when I was like a baby. That was a joke. But some people have done it.
No, but I mean, had my son did it.
As an adult?
No, as a kid.
Okay.
But just when the mohel comes to your house, you're like, what? Who are you?
I think we went to like a CVS for it. Yeah. Or we went somewhere for it. They came to your house to do it?
Yeah, the mohel comes to your house and cuts the kid's foreskin.
Is that where they did it?
Yeah.
I don't know why I just acted like I knew when and where it happened. Yeah. Okay, so they probably came to our house.
Yeah, like an old Jewish bearded guy,
so weird,
with a hat and comes with his cigar cutter, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, it's not like an official. It's just a regular pair of
dog, and then
construction paper scissors.
You're so sad because the kid's, your son's crying, and he's only days old.
Yeah,
it's really rough.
Can you imagine if there's any baby that when they snip and the kid just goes and just stares back at the rabbi? Yeah. No, it's always
Give
probably
something harder.
Always,
the best you got?
Yeah. Thought you were gonna tug on it, Rabbi.
It's really funny. The older Jews usually they want to go in and watch, which I find weird.
Nobody should be in the room. Well, somebody should be in the room for it. You don't want to trust a stranger with a baby. But I don't know.
The Dalai Lama situation.
What a weirdo. That kid wanted an autograph, and he was like, "I got a better idea." I think that there is something about the Jewish religion that I attach myself to, which is that we love to do. We're all about family, good deeds, and there's another one.
Bagels.
Mitzvahs, good deeds, family. I don't know. Sex. Somebody told me once sex was a big deal to Jews. I don't know. Sex is a big deal to everybody, though, right?
Jew, sex was not a big deal, but
yeah, okay. Yikes! Too soon.
Too soon.
Right? See,
coming in September on Adam's YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Is it going to be on your YouTube channel?
No. I'm gonna shop this baby. I got a few people that are pretty accomplished that I think are gonna help me.
I think there's something sick about putting it on YouTube and then getting 20 million
1,000%.
I think that's just so gangster.
It is. There's a couple places and a couple people, buds of mine that have said they would throw it on their channel because my channel is still growing and it's just not in a place to have. I don't know. I want to shoot big.
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
I don't agree with you. I think. I mean, obviously, you know, if somebody wants to pay you $1 million,
Netflix and Amazon are now acquiring, and I still think Netflix is there's so much visibility there, and I don't even care about the label of it. It's just the eyeballs of it. What I've seen for some of my comedian friends, the boost is real.
The uptick in ticket sales.
Yeah.
What does a network pay for a stand-up special?
Depends, I think.
Not Rock or Chappelle, like somebody like
well, a buddy of mine named Jared Freed just had his picked up, or Mark Norman. I don't know if they got in the millions. Maybe they did. I don't know. I would venture to assume that it's now for people at that level that are great comics and that have followings. But yeah, you're right. It's like they're not paying that Burr, Chappelle, Segura money to everybody.
I heard a very long time ago. Let's say this was at least 10 years ago. Maybe 12 or 13. I heard Mark Maron got 400,000.
Yeah,
that was 15 years ago. So maybe it's more now.
Maybe, but maybe it's also like one of those things where they're like, look, you get to be on Netflix though. So you want to say no and take this amount? I mean,
right.
But I know Amazon is trying to throw more cash at people because they're trying to really make a splash in that department, and so they know that they have to spend a little to get quality. But
so when you played Jay Leno, I want to talk about this. So you played Jay Leno and Pam and Tommy, but you've done them before in skits and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
just in some sketches and.
Is that weird to play somebody? Is that hard?
No, I love it, man. I mean, I just love not being myself. I love just being in full. I love that, dude. When I was a kid, in preschool, there was like a case of, coats and wigs and all that shit. And I remember I was like one of the only kids who was like, just love to play pretend. And the idea, and also some of the people that I've always looked up to, acting wise, Eddie Murphy, Nutty Professor, is to me one of the greatest things of all time. And it's like, I just love people. I just love playing characters. And so getting to do, the top of the line transformation stuff, so cool. And I love, even when I played Danny Zuko in Grease in high school, it was cool because I was like, oh, I have stuff to be able to study and watch. And I love to, it's a little bit, imitation, but then also emulation. And then you try to just absorb and really get lost in that is pretty cool. And
is it tough when when you go to set and you're in the Leno makeup, it's your first day, and then you got to do the voice.
Yeah.
And then the director is like, just that moment, that's always tough for me, that first line, and you're like, is the director going to hate what I'm going to do?
Well, totally. The first day I think was all the Tonight Show stuff. And I mean, I love it. When I was getting all ready and they were it was like 4 hours. And once it started to take shape and I'm really doing it, there was a guy there that did Leno's makeup on the Tonight Show, and then another gal that also did it, and then a guy hit me up later that did warm up for the Tonight Show for like 15 years, and he was like, I thought this was raw footage from it. I didn't know that was a guy doing it or whatever. So I was like, all right, I think it's coming across okay. But there was some, and they said because they got a lot of people that auditioned that were like doing an impression, and they're like, you could tell that you are an actor doing the thing instead of just a cartoony.
Yeah,
because I have buddies that audition for it that do okay Lenos, but I'm like, oh yeah, it's just an impression. And I still had to really ground it because there were certain things I was doing where I was like, oh, that's still a little too big. But the director, Lake Bell, did say at one point, she was like, because I think I had a little bit of a lisp sometimes. I was doing a little bit of a lisp, a little bit, Jason Nash, it's a fun name to think. It kind of rolls off the tongue, the tongue twister, And so she was like, oh, split the difference on that. It's too, she just didn't like it.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, that's how I was doing it. So I had to kind of,
dial it in.
Yeah, dial that in. But then, I don't know. I met Jay at Flappers in Burbank about a month after it came out.
Were you nervous to meet him? Like, did you think he would?
Just nervous for comedy-wise. I just had so many questions, and I didn't care if he, I heard, there's a cocksucker who thinks he's better than me or whatever. My mom was like, you got to tell him that you played him. I was like, he doesn't care. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking down through the kitchen to the green room, and he goes, oh, it's the guy who played me on TV. And then I was like, oh, hey, was it bad? I'll move back to Seattle. He's like, no, it was good. I heard it was grounded. I heard it wasn't cartoony. I'm probably not going to watch it. But, the sex day, that was great. I remember that Bam came on the show, and I was like, oh, look at these tits. Look at your tits. He didn't say that, but he was like, he was nice about it. And then,
sure.
And then I just asked him all these comedy store stories, and he was real nice. And then he ripped, but a little nervous to meet him just because. But I don't know. I felt
I'd be so nervous that he would be like, "You asshole," like you.
Yeah, but I mean, look, it's not like he doesn't come off great in it. I think because
that's why
in those scenes where he's really kind of. But I don't know. I think he's so rich and so. I don't think he's even thinking about that stuff. I mean, think about doing a show every night like that for 20 plus years. Like, I don't even think I mean,
sure, the amount of Teflonness you have to have.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of just like, we're just doing it.
He talked to me more about the monologue process and how fun that was. Like, he's like, that's what I cared about. You come in the monologue, I'm a comedian. The monologue is what I care about. You know, you're talking to somebody, oh, you're doing a movie. Oh, great. Carson Daly. Oh, who gives a and then, the monologue, he said, would be 5 or 6 minutes. And then when they turned a corner and started to do OJ jokes or Clinton jokes, he's like, then all of a sudden they were like 15, 18-minute monologues. And he's like, we would stay up super late, get up early to really, because things would happen. And he cared. That was like his baby. After that, he's like, it was all good. Like, I didn't really, not that he didn't care, but I'm there to promote people's shit and make them look good.
That's what made him the monologue he cared about. Was the monologue. I think so, man. Monologue and he held him over.
And sometimes it was, a little cheese dicky and whatever, but it's like, I remember watching in high school being like, those are funny jokes. And sometimes it's like maybe catered more towards
middle America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they said when they really started to go after like Clinton and really go a little harder in the paint is when they saw kind of a ratings boost too, and then it was like, oh wow, people want a little bit more spice in their latte.
Have you had that? Have you had stuff you've done on stage, or someone ever come up to you and be like,
oh yeah,
you have?
I was in Reno, not bragging, and
the sentence is already great. Like the story is already great. I was in Reno. I was like, oh, I'm so glad it happened in Reno. Of course, in Reno.
And this was like a year after Trump got elected, and so people are still pretty sensitive to everything that's happening. And I'm doing jokes, just a few, and even in this new special, a few about him, a few about like hitting both sides. I have no problem saying I didn't vote for him, but I'm hitting both sides, and there's people though that don't even like their side to get hit. So he starts chiming up and saying some stuff. Try to use him to get back, and I always try to like squash the distraction by including it. So I'm like, all right, blah blah, and then move on, and then try to get into some bits organically. And he just kept coming at me. Him and his wife, they're probably in their early 70s, late 60s, and then he just kept coming at me, and then I was like, I just lost my cool. And I've definitely learned from that. I mean, I use this example all the time when I'm trying to, if I'm talking to younger comics or whoever about like, you're always in control. Like, I could have ignored it, I could have whatever, but I'm the one that chose to kind of engage and take it up a notch and just lose my cool and not try to make it funny. But I ran out of fucking patience, man. And the guy was just so. And then he started saying, and the thing that set me off was I had some new haircut, and it wasn't the best. Shout out to Floyd's Barbershop. They did their best. The same way God did his best with whoever cut my hair that day. I did make a video and put it online, I think on YouTube, about, because it looked, I think I said it, I looked like Right Said Fred fuck Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was like really bad. The person, like, at one point I was like looking down at my phone, and she like grabbed my head and goes, "Don't look down." And I remember being like, "You still holding those scissors?" And then I went up to the person, the cashier at the end, and I was like, hey, I don't want to like get anybody fired, but I don't know if she should be working. Like this was a pretty negative experience. Like she yanked my head. She yelled at me a few times. Like, I mean, and she goes, and the haircut I think is kind of the the flag in the sand here. And she was like, what do you mean I take my hat off? And she goes, it's not that bad. And I go, boy, you can't even say that it isn't. And I tipped her, and then I went on YouTube, made a video, and the head of Floyd's hit me up and was like, we saw your video. We're so sorry. We would love to give you free haircuts for a month. And I was like, no, that's the problem. Haircut. That's one. Yeah. And also,
you only need one a month.
If I got, and I think I typed back, like, if I got herpes from a stripper, you think I would go back to that same strip club the next day and be like, hey, you mind giving me gonorrhea too? And they didn't respond to that. And so,
surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about the incident in Reno.
In Reno. So Trumpy, they don't like it. And I lose my cool. And after the show, they come up to me, and he goes, "Hey, there's a guy with the shitty haircut." And I go, "Sir," "let's just agree to disagree." Because I lost my cool on stage, being like, "Just shut the up. You guys are going to be dead in like 10 years, maybe." Right. And then I just wasn't even trying to make it funny, and it just got weird. And it didn't feel good at all. But I was just like, almost blacked out.
Like that, yeah.
So afterwards, they come out. My opener, Sandy Danto's like, he's like, "Dude, that was crazy." He's like, "I've never seen it like that." I was like, "Yeah, man, I didn't like any of that." And then they come out, and he goes, "You piece of shit, Trump 2025, whatever." And I was like, "Sir, we're both just not looking at life through the same set of goggles. All good." And then he goes, "And your dumb haircut," and he tries to grab my hair. And I grabbed his hand, and I just kind of lowered it down. I go, "But you can't do that, otherwise things are gonna get weird." And then he goes, "Fuck you," and spit on my shirt. And then his wife goes, "Fuck you, that's the worst show ever." And I go, "I'll see you both in hell." And then he walked away, and my buddy was just laughing, and he goes, "You just told a couple in their 70s you're going to see him in hell." And I was like, "Yeah, no, that also didn't feel good." And I'm probably not going to sleep tonight.
Let's end on that. Guys, go check out Adam Ray. Go to adamray.com. Go
Adam
buy
Ray
some
Comedy.
tickets. Go watch his special live from Portland, which is on YouTube now. I'll link it below. And make sure to look for his special in September. All right, All Good Things Podcast. And go check out his podcast, About Last Night.
I love it, Jay. Check out Jay's episode. It's great.
Thanks, Adam.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.